Hey guys, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. I'm Kishore and today I'm going to solve a hybrid Sudoku created by Akash. This Sudoku was posted on his blog, World of Sudoku. This is the 300th creation of the author, a phenomenal achievement, 300 handcrafted puzzles, an amazing job from the author. Apart from that, Akash has also managed to publish 4 Sudoku books. I will add the link to his blog. If you haven't been to his blog already, please do check out his blog. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. All of his Sudokus are really wonderful to solve. So the link to solve today's Sudoku is given in the description of the video. Please do give it a try and come back and watch the video. You'll be able to appreciate the video even more. And now a little bit of background about the Sudoku. I actually gave this Sudoku a try yesterday. I was trying to make a live solve for a video on this Sudoku. So what happened was I got stuck and I had to use uniqueness to complete the Sudoku. And after a few hours, I decided to scrap the video because I didn't feel good that I had to use uniqueness. So then I took an image at the point where I was stuck and where I used uniqueness and sent it to the author, and Akash managed to show me the continuation. It was a really narrow deduction, actually a couple of narrow deductions in fact, involving the same cell. So I wouldn't blame you guys if you had taken a guess to complete the Sudoku. So having said that, let us start the Sudoku now. And before moving on to the rules, if you guys have been watching the channel regularly, please do hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed already, this would be a great source of motivation to us, and particularly as we are looking to grow the channel. So please do support us. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the subscribe button now. So let's move on to the rules now. Actually, 4 variant rules apply here. Let us look into them. And basic classic rules apply. Each row, each column and 3 by 3 box of the grid will have digits from 1 to 9 without any repetitions. And then you can see the shape 300 in the grid, right, to symbolize this 300th creation. One of these gray lines is a Renban line, meaning it will contain a set of consecutive digits in any order. And exactly one of the lines is a German whisper line, meaning suppose let's say this is a German whisper line. The adjacent digits along the line, each pair of adjacent digits will have a difference of at least 5. So that is the rule of the German whisper. And the final line must be palindrome line. A palindrome line reads the same from both the directions. Let us say this is the palindrome line. So whatever comes here must be exactly the same as the other end of the line. So both of these cells would be same, both of these cells would be same, both of these would be same, and go on, and so on and so forth. And so exactly one of these lines is palindrome, exactly one is Renban, and exactly one is German whisper. It is up to the solver to determine which is which. And the final variant part is kropki. You can see a black dot here, right? The digits in these two cells, one of the digits in those cells must be twice of the other. And you also have a white dot, and which means digits in these two cells must be consecutive. And converse rules do not apply, meaning you can have digits which are twice of each other or consecutive to each other. You can have them next to each other without any black or white dot. So these are the rules. Really interesting Sudoku variant, and I know how this Sudoku works exactly because I've solved this already, as I told you guys. And I'll show you guys the most stickiest deduction in the Sudoku later on. So let us start the Sudoku now. The first thing to notice is you can easily deduce which one is the palindrome line. I'll show you guys the exact intended solve path of the author. This cannot be a palindrome because both of these cells need to be same, and that is clearly not possible. Can this be a palindrome? If you have a palindrome, look at the third cell from this direction. It is falling in box 7. And similarly, the third cell from this direction is also falling in box 7, which is the exact same place. So you cannot have even this line as a palindrome. So it is clear to us that this is a palindrome, right? So let me shade that using green maybe. So the green is a palindrome, right? And now we have German Whispers and Renban. Next you can deduce which one is the German whisper line. Let us see. So before that we'll do a little bit of classic. So you have 6 here and you have 6 here, and that gives you a 6 in one of these two cells. Now the thing about German whisper variant is that if you have a 6 on the line, you need to have the adjacent digit as 1, because the minimum difference must be 5. If you have a 6 on the line, this adjacent digit must be a 1, and if you have a 4 on the line, the adjacent digit must be a 9. There is no this is how it works. The German whisper part, this is how it works. So let us assume this is a German whisper line. So because of this 6, both of these cells must be 1, which by itself is possible. However, you have a 1 as a given here. So this deduction is eliminated. You cannot have 6 here and expect this to be a German whisper line. Can you have a 6 here? In which case both of these cells must be 1, which is again clearly not possible. So we are certain now that this is not a German whisper line. So this is a Renban line, right? So let me highlight that using red. And because you have exactly 8 cells on the line, so you will have either the 1 outside the line or the digit 9 outside the line, and the rest of the digits must be falling on the line, right? And now we know that the only thing left is a German whisper, and that has to be this 3 shape. This is the German whisper line. And one more thing about the German whisper line is that when you consider adjacent pair of cells, one will be from the group 1 to 4 and the adjacent cell will be from the group 6 to 9. So this is how the Sudoku works. You can never have a 5 on a German whisper line because you'll need minimum 10. That's not possible. So now we can be certain that if this is from 1 to 4, this would be from 6 to 9. This is from 1 to 4. It keeps switching every 2 cells. So basically what we know for sure is that if this is 1 to 4, this would also be 1 to 4, this would also be 1 to 4, and this would also be 1 to 4. So all these yellow cells will have digits from the same grouping, either 1 to 4 or 7 to 9, right? So this is how the first part of the Sudoku works. Now let us see what happens if the yellow cells contain digits from the group 6, 7, 8 and 9, right? Obviously 6 and 8 immediately get eliminated even here. So these become 7 and 9, right? And now due to classic, you get the 2 here, right? Now, if I have a 7 here, this becomes my 9, this becomes my 9, and this becomes my 7. Now to satisfy the 7, you need the successive digit as either 1 or 2 so that the difference is at least 5. So because 2 is here, this becomes 1. And now you have a 7 here, which means that this digit must be 1 or 2, but both are ruled out, right? So it works the same way when you swap the digits too. So let's say you have a 9 here and a 7 here. So this becomes 7, that becomes 9. And because this is 7, both of these digits must be 1 and 2 to satisfy the German whisper part, but that is already eliminated because you have a 2 in row 2 column 5. A wonderful deduction to see at the start, not so easy. So we can be certain now that the yellow cells are from the group 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us quickly write that. And these would be from the group 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I said at the start that a 6 must have 1 as its adjacent digits. So if you have a 6 here, both of these must be a 1. Not possible. Again, both of these must be a 1 if this is 6. Not possible. This is also not possible. And you'll notice that we get a 7, 8, 9 triplet. Fantastic. So which means that in box 8, I can mark a corner pencil mark of 7, 8 and 9. Now we know that the green line is a palindrome, right? This is a Renban, this is a German Whisper, and this is a palindrome as we established at the start. Can you have a 7 or 8 in these two cells? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the third and the fourth cell from either direction, because of classic, cannot be 7 and 8, right? So which means I can eliminate 7, 8 from these two cells, and that basically gives me a 7, 8 pair. That's beautiful. You can't have 7, 8 in column 5, you can't have 7, 8 here. So I get a 7, 8 pair here. That's really nice. And now a 9 must go here, and which means a 9 must be in one of these two cells because of the palindrome part. Okay, so an 8 cannot be in any of the pink cells because the Renban line will contain a non-repeating set of consecutive digits in any order. So 8 goes in one of these 4 cells in box 7. So if I look at this black dot, it cannot be 1 and 2, right? Let me remove this corner pencil mark. It can be a 2, 4, or it can be a 4, 8. It cannot be a 3 and 6. So there are very few options left. It's either 2 and 4 or 4 and 8, and both the cases 4 is common. Okay. And we saw at the start that either the 1 or the 9 must go outside the Renban line, right? Because it has 8 consecutive digits. Rest of the digits must be on the line. And if you look where the 3 can go, 3 cannot be here. 3 cannot be here. So you get a 3 here. And that gives us a 3, 6 pair. So look at this pink line. You have 7, 8, you have 3, 6, which means these two cells must be 1, 2, 4, 5 or 9. So 1 and 9 are eliminated. So these two cells must be 2, 4, 5, and 5 cannot go here because of this 4. 4 cannot go here. Okay, a bit of classic. 1 goes into one of these two cells in column 1, and because 5 is not in these 3 cells, 5 would have to go here, and that removes the 5 from this line here. So this becomes a 2, and that becomes a 4. Now if you look closely, we have got all the digits from 2 to 8. So which means this cell is either 1 or 9. And because you have a 2 here, this becomes a 4, 8 pair. And you can mark some candidates here. So 1, 2 and 9. And these 3 cells for the column must be 3, 7, 8. So you can't have 8 here. That's a 3 and a 7. Okay, so if I look at column 1 again, 4 goes in one of these two cells, right? 4 cannot be here. So 4 goes here, and that gives me a locked pair. So 1 and 4. So 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 7 and 9. So this becomes 5, 8. And which can be resolved 5 and 8. So this would be 3, 7. And that has to be 3, 7. And because you have 3, 7 here, this is an 8. So that's not an 8. and you also have an 8 here, so that's not an 8. So that gives you a 7-9 pair, and which means this would have to be an 8. And I think we can place the final 8 in the grid now. Okay, so let's look at row 6. You have 3, 8, 2, 4, 9. So 6 must go into one of these two cells, and these must become 1, 5 or 7. And we can reproduce this at the other end of the palindrome. The first two cells are the same as these two cells, 1, 5, 7. So 5 can't go here, so this cannot be a 5. And because you have 8 here, this can't be a 4, this can't be a 4 because of the German whisper property. And I am having a 9 here, right? So I could place this, I could reduce this cell. This can't be a 9, so that's a 1. That would have to be a 2, 9 pair. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 6 and 8. So remaining digits are 2, 4, 9. So we can quickly mark those digits in. And this is not a 2, right? So the third digit from this direction is 249. So the third digit from this direction is 249. And both of these digits are same. So that's a 4 and 9. Okay, let's fill in the candidates here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. So these must be 379 and 379. So at this point, the solver might be thinking, okay, I've deduced what each line is. I've got most of the digits deciphered, but still the Sudoku hasn't become one bit easier. There is one very tough deduction which is required to solve this logically. I'll show you guys that deduction shortly. You guys can decide for yourself whether that was easy to see or a really tough one. This deduction was shown to me by the author himself. So this is the intended step. Okay, so one thing to see is you either have the 7 here or the 7 here, which means that whichever cell takes the 7, the yellow cells must be 1 and 2. If this is 7, these must be 1 and 2, and if that is 7, these must be 1 and 2 because of the German whisper rule, right? So I need to write in some more candidates before I can show you the deduction. So 1 must go here, only possible digit. So 3, 8, 2, 4, 9. So this is not 1 and 5. So that would be a 6 and 7. And 7 cannot be here. So that becomes a hidden single. That would have to be a 6. And this becomes now a 1, 5 and 7. Oh, 7 cannot be here due to classic. So which means 7 goes into one of these two cells and 7 goes into one of these two cells. So if I look at column 5, I have 1, 5, 6. I have a 7, 8, 9 triplet. So these must be 2, 3, 4. The remaining candidates that can be written inside those cells, they must be 2, 3, 4. Now I have a quadruple. 1, 2, 3, 4 in row 2. A really beautiful Sudoku, guys. Tough one to see. So you have a quadruple here. So this is not a 3. It becomes 7. So this would be a 3, 9 pair. And which means this is 7, that is 3. And these must be a 5, 9 pair for the row. So 2, 4, 8, 5 and 9. So these two cells must be 1, 3, 7. And if you look at 6, 6 in box 9 goes into one of these two cells. And which means I can place the 6 here. And this must be a 1, 3, 7 now. So because you have 1 here, that is not 1, so which means this is not 1. So these must be 5, 7 and equal to each other. Okay, so 6 in row 1 has only one cell left. 6 would have to go here, can't go anywhere else. And 3 removes the 3 from here and from here. So 9 in row 4 goes into one of these two cells, and 2 in row column 9 goes into one of these two cells. So you can see that still we are chipping away at the Sudoku. There are some tiny directions that you have to keep on making. The Sudoku hasn't just fallen it. So if I look at row 1 again, there is only one cell left for the 5. So this is a 5. And look at this cell, guys. I mean row 5, column 6, the most important cell in the Sudoku. 1, 3, 8, 5, 6 and 9. So this becomes 2, 4 and 7. Right? And you'll see why this is the most important cell in the Sudoku. So look at this cell. This cannot be 3, 8, 3, 7, 8, 4, 6, 9. 4, 6, 9, 3, 7, 8. So this would be 1, 2, 5. 1 is ruled out. So that's a 2, 5. And look at this cell. Can't be 1, 3, 8. Cannot be 2, 6, 9 and 7. So this is a 4, 5. Right? 1, 3, 8, 6, 9 and 7 and 3. 7 and 2. So this is 4, 5. That is 2, 5. Right? So I think I've got all the things needed to show you the deduction now. A little bit more maybe. Let us try to write some candidates here maybe. Okay, actually there is something more left here, I think. Okay, look at this cell, guys. Can it be a 2? Really, you can feel that this is a really difficult deduction to see, maybe even a little bit random, because there are so many other cells which can potentially give you something, but we are focusing on some cell which is not even related closely to the Sudoku. So look at this cell. If this is a 2, this becomes a 5, that becomes 4. So 7 goes in one of these cells. And I mean 7 cannot go here because you have a 7 here. So 7 goes into this cell. And for the 7 to be true, we saw earlier that it must have a 1-2 pair, which is not possible because you have a 2 here. A really difficult deduction to see. So this is only the first of the tough deductions. So we are sure that this must be a 4, 5. This cannot be a 2. So that becomes a 4, 7. And now we need to eliminate one more digit. Let us see how we can do that. Okay, awesome. And before we eliminate one more digit here, it's important to note that you have a 4, 5, 9 triplet in column 7. So which means these two cells cannot be 2, 8, cannot be 4, 5, 9. So they must be a 1, 3, 6. 1, 3, 6 and 7 actually, but you have a 7 here. So they must be a 1, 3, 6. Now, if this cell is a 4, look what happens. 4 is eliminated from here, so 4 goes here. And using classic, 4 goes into this cell. Let me just, use color and show you. That will be better, I suppose. maybe purple color. If this is a 4, the 4 goes here using classic, 4 goes here using classic again, and now look where can 4 be in box 9? No cell. How hard is that for a deduction? If you guys manage to eliminate both the 2 and the 4 logically by means of this method, you must be a genius, because this is how the author had shown me the intended solve path. A really difficult one to see, and if you guys had guessed somewhere here and continued the Sudoku, it's absolutely fine, because it's a super tough deduction, guys, a very tough one to see. Not only do you need to eliminate one digit from a random looking cell, but it's actually one more digit, 2 digits actually. So this is not a 4, and which means this has to be a 7. And now the Sudoku falls rather quickly. So this 7 gives me a 9 here, a 7 here. So these become a 1-2 pair, and that gives me a 4, a 1. This becomes a 3. So this would be a 2-4. So 1, 2, 3, 8, 5, 6 and 7, 4, 9. And okay, you have a 9 here, 9 pencil mark. So that is a 4, that is a 9. Now that becomes 3, that becomes 9. So you have 7 here, so these become 1-3 pair. And that gives you a 7 here. That gives you a 5 here, which gives you a 5 here. This would have to be a 7 now. That becomes a 7. 5, 7, so that's a 1. That 5 gives me a 4, 5 gives you a 2, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7, 8. So these become 1 and 9. 5 gives a 9, gives a 5. This becomes 1, that becomes 9. And because of this 9, this is not a 9. So 5, 7, 2, 4. So this would also be a 2, 4. So 9 is removed from here and here. And now there is only one cell which can take the 9 in that column. So that is a 9. That is a 9. So because of the 4, this is a 2. So that is a 2. That is 4. That is 2. So 1 and 2 gives me a 3 here, a 4 here, a 5 here. So this can be resolved. That's 1, that's 2, 7. So 7, 8. 8, 4, 9. So 9 and 2. So these 2 digits must be consecutive. So 1 cannot be in these 2 cells. So you have 1 here. That gives you a 3 and a 1. That becomes a 1-6 pair, and that becomes a 3-4 pair. Because of this 4, you have a 4 and a 3 and a 6, and a 6 and a 1. And with that, we have completed this Sudoku by Akash Dulani. A really aesthetic looking Sudoku, and with a very tough deduction in the middle of the solve. Hope you guys got to see what was the stickiest deduction in the Sudoku and enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. We hope to see you soon with a video. Bye bye.